When we work with voiceovers, we saw how the TCE trimmer could stretch something or compress something, make it go faster, make it go slower. Well, can we do that with music too? Let's try. So let's get rid of everything in our timeline. Let's just choose one of these little slices. I'll just pick this guy here and bring him over to the beginning. It's a little 2-bar phrase here, and we know that this is wrong up here because it's set for the second piece of music that we worked with. The first one we agreed on was 96, and that looks about right now. Let's verify with our big counter. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. We could just grab the TCE trimmer. Let's just grab him, and let's keep our Smart Tool selected. I'm going to zoom just a smidgen here, about that much. And then over here we get the trimmer with the watch in it. And we could just drag it to some number and say, well, let's just make this be a little bit slower. But we can use the grid to determine an exact tempo. Let's say we want to take this from 96 to, just pick a number, 112 beats a minute. Bar 3 is over here now. So if we choose grid, we can actually time compress trim this to the grid. Notice how as soon as I clicked here, it just snapped right to bar 3. It wants to do that, so I just let it go. And now our piece is at 112 beats a minute. Let's undo that, and let's take it out slower than 96. Let's go to 80 beats per minute. I just click and drag, and it will retime it to 80 beats per minute. Now, just like we saw in voiceovers, stretching this requires Pro Tools to do a little bit of extrapolation and build data pieces in that aren't really there. It does this using something called granular synthesis, and it's finding pieces in the audio and stretching them out. So there comes a point at which it's kind of unuseful. If we went down to 40 beats a minute, let's say, now I actually have to drag it all the way to here. Now, could be an interesting effect. If you want that, that's what it's going to do. It's going to kind of ruin your piece of music. All right, let's mute that track. Try this same thing with something from our other piece. I don't want that part. I want the little slice, that little guy. Let me bring him in. And we know he's at 123, not 40, 123 beats per minute. And we'll stretch him in grid mode. He's just a 1-bar phrase. Let's take him to that same 112. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit and drag him out to there. So not much of a change from 123. Let's undo that and set him to 96. And we'll change his tempo to 96. So now he could conform to the first piece that was at 96 before we messed it up. So that's a way to retime your library music to a specific tempo using grid and the TCE trimmer.